Welcome to OkState Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a great show. We're going to talk all about Cowgirl softball. The baseball last night was ugly, no doubt about that. Cowboys the offense did not show up. Didn't get necessarily a very good start on the mound, but really yesterday was just all about the fact that OSU just could not get anything going offensively all day. So that was an ugly game. It was at the end of a very long, grueling streak. Coach Holliday likes to use the term competitive endurance. I think the schedule, a lot of it, kind of caught up to him yesterday. It was just flat. It was a day where they got nothing going, and so that's kind of what happened to the baseball. They have a weekend series over the weekend with Southern Illinois starting Friday night, so let's pack up right and let's check them out. Cowgirl basketball, boy, what a season they've had. We're going to cover them tomorrow. Tomorrow's show is going to be specifically designated for Cowgirl basketball as they begin play and action in the Big 12 tournament on Friday. So we're going to have a podcast on the basketball team tomorrow morning. We'll release that about 7 o'clock in the morning, so look forward to getting that done and getting that out. What a season Coach Hoyt's had. I personally think she was the coach of the year in the Big 12. I think some of her players that she defended deserved better honors or more honors, if you will, than they got. We'll cover that. We'll cover what's coming forward for the Cowgirls and the great season they've had. But today, it's all about the softball team, who last night went to Denton, Texas, and defeated the North Texas Mean Green, the Eagles. And, hey, Coach Gajewski, the thing that he has said many times, he wants his girls to be calloused. He wants them to be calloused to the best competition in the United States, and he has absolutely done that. After a murderer's row of a beginning to this season, the Cowgirls now have won 11 games in a row. They have now won 15 games. They are 15-4 with an 11-game win streak, and they are playing really, really, really good. Of course, if any team's going to be really good, it's going to be because they just they pitch really well within the circle. And if you're going to talk about that, you got to start with Ruby Malin. Ruby Malin is as advertised. The Cowgirls knew what they were getting in a great pitcher. You're replacing the great pitcher, the pitching that the Cowgirls had last year with another great pitcher in Ruby Malin here. How about the heater that she's on? Heater meaning that she has been on a long streak as far as not giving up a lot of runs. Tulsa, this is the outing. Of course, she came in relief and through the last two innings, and that was that was just not even fair. That last inning last night when she struck out all three hitters just was not fair to North Texas. But her last start, she threw 4 2/3 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, 9 strikeouts, and 3 walks. So now Ruby Malin has not allowed a run in her last 8 outings, and now she has 42 strikeouts during those outings. That rise ball, drop ball that she throws is just an absolutely awesome pitch. And so Ruby Malin has been as advertised, and as always, you can see here on the video, her physical skills are very, very intimidating. They're just absolutely awesome. But it's the emotional, she's kind of the emotional support and the emotional leader that this group can really build around, and she's just a lot of fun to watch, and she's a young lady that really leads by example. She loves to get emotional. She loves to just have fun as far as in the competitive element of softball and inside the circle, and I think her teammates around her really feed off of that. Kyra Aycock, she has had some really good moments, including her performance against Tulsa is good. We'll get into the specifics of that, but specifically her 2 outings against the SEC teams that she's pitched against, both Auburn and Missouri, were good. And the results for Kyra Aycock have been good. Her ERA is just 2.90 in 9.2 innings. So if she keeps the ball in the zone consistently, she is a big factor. But that's been the problem with Kyra Aycock. Even in her last outing with Tulsa, she walked quite a few people, but her stuff is good enough to where she can work around some walks, but you wouldn't think, against the better teams or in conference play that's a situation to where she would be able to get around it as much as she has been able to this point, again, an ERA under 3. So the results have been good. And the Cowgirls, I think, we're going to need, we've seen this before, but they are going to need probably 3 pitchers. And I'll tell you what, if I can get to her screen here, Katie Coots, she throws absolute gas. And last night, she's in the same boat as Kyra Aycock. I think a little bit more advanced, although, the ERAs are very similar. But Katie Coots was really, really good last night, in my opinion, against Tulsa. Against North Texas. Her fastball, I think it registered, they said, over 70 miles an hour, but it was the drop ball, it was the changeup, it was all of that last night. And again, she's another emotional leader as well. She enjoys the competition of pitching. And so Katie Coots, if Katie Coots and Kyra Aycock can, of course, Coots got the start last night, and then Aycock came in to get the last 2 innings. Here's Katie Coots against Drake right here. If Katie Coots can really come on, her and Kyra Aycock, give some relief to Ruby Malin in the circle, this club offensively is going to score runs. We know that. And so that would be a big deal. You've got to have a couple of other pitchers that can relieve Malin, and Coots had a really, really nice game last night. And so Cardi Godwin, you talk about the pitching, but the offense it's an offense this year, to me, that is a little bit more dynamic than last year. Of course, last year you were with Carolyn Wong and all those players. You had all of the long balls, which is a lot of fun to watch. But this year, of course, last year you had Claire Tim and Tia Warsop then, but those girls are 1 year older, right? And Megan Delgadillo is just awesome at slapping the ball. So is Tia Warsop. And Talon Edwards, we see, can lay down a bunt. And so can Megan Bloodworth. And this is Rosie Davis can move runners if she needs to. So this is a club, you're seeing Cardi Godwin in her action last night, to me, that can score in different ways this year. They can generate offense through bunting, through stealing bases, through kind of the small ball element of things, and slap hitting and that kind of thing, because this team is fast. Megan Delgadillo, very fast. Tia Warsop, very fast. Claire Temp, very fast. That kind of thing. But then they also have Cardi Godwin in the middle lineup, who had 2 home runs last night. Michaela Wark, who had a home run last night. And so there is an element. It's kind of the way that matter of fact, Michaela Wark had 2 hits last night as she came home. She's from, I believe it's Plano, and they were in Denton, so not exactly her hometown, but the DFW area. That's always fun for those players to get to go back to that area and play. And so you have a premier college hitter in Cardi Godwin. Rosie Davis is super consistent. She hit .333 last year coming into last night. She was hitting .333 again. She had a home run to get things started last night. So Rosie Davis is one of those. She's kind of encapsulates this entire offense in the sense that she can hit home runs like this offense can. She can move runners and just be a great hitter too, which this offense can put together executed rallies beyond just hitting home runs. And I tell you what, Megan Delgadillo, kind of like Ruby Malin, the Ruby Malin of the position player side, my opinion, is really has proven herself to be the absolute real deal as far as the type of player the Cowgirls knew they were getting. Just slaps the ball to left field. Now watch her run. Watch this. That is a double, ladies and gentlemen, to start the game off. Now you talk about starting a game on the right foot. That's how you do it. Generate excitement for your team. Stretching that thing into a double. Rosie Davis hit a home run right after that. But talk about skills. Delgadillo definitely has skills, and they were on display last night. And I'll tell you what, if you were to just kind of define, hey, what do you want out of a leadoff hitter? I think Megan Delgadillo would be definitely the definition of that. She's hitting .385 on the year. OPS is 1136. That's on base plus slugging. And her on base percentage is .444. Plus, because she's able to use her speed to leg out doubles like you saw right there, her slugging percentage is almost 700. So, man, you talk about the prototypical absolutely perfect leadoff hitter. She has been that for the Cowgirls, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And whenever she does stuff like that, stretching hits like that into doubles, it really brings a lot of positive energy to her club. And then Rosie Davis is just Rosie Davis, 328 on the year. She came in last night hitting 333. She had 333 last year. Her OPS is about 30 points higher than last year, but just very, very good, very, very consistent, one of the most consistent offensive players that Oklahoma State has on their team. And she, like we said, got the party started last night for the Cowgirls with that home run right there. And that scored Delgadillo after the double that we just saw. And then Michaela Wark went 2 for 2 last night. And again, she was back in her home area, DFW. Wark now has her average up to 298, and her OPS is approaching 1,000. So that's a whole lot of fun to see her hit like she has been hitting, and just another weapon in this lineup. And then another young girl. I'll tell you what a season that Tia Warsip is having. My goodness. Had a hit for the 4th game in a row last night. Boy, she can really run. Look at that girl run right there. My goodness, pick him up and put him down. So a hit for the 4th game in a row and a hit for the 7th game in her last 8. She also had a couple of RBIs. That's the 2nd time in her last 6 games where she's had more than 1 RBI in a game. So she's getting hit. She's getting on base. She can really run. She's driving in runs. Matter of fact, she's hitting 571 OPS 1,100. So, wow, what a season that Tia Warsip is having. And then another thing to me that I really thought Lexi McDonald would be an offensive factor for this team. Boy, that's what she does right there. She just goes with the pitch. She hits the ball where it's pitched, and she's a really good hitter, young lady out of Silo. She has not had a whole lot of opportunities this year, talking about Lexi McDonald, but definitely taking advantage of the opportunities she got last night, and that was a lot of fun to see there. So this was a really good performance. When you go back to Katie Coots, let's get back to her so you can see a little bit more of her performance last night against North Texas, because it was a lot of fun to watch, and it was a performance that she gave her club. Let's show her against Drake here. She gave her club exactly what they needed on the road. Of course, did give up the 2 runs. The game was tied 2-2 at one point, but really settled down, struck out, had that rise ball, had the changeup working, and with all the velos she has, I think that probably is what stole the show last night. And again, last year you had Lexi Kilfoyle, you had Ivy Rosenberry, and you need, of course, Ruby Malin, I think, has done a good job of playing the Lexi Kilfoyle, her role, but then you got to have somebody who can replace Ivy Rosenberry and Kyra Aycock, and now specifically Katie Coots has done a good job with that. So the Cowgirl softballers, again, after a murder's row to begin the season with all of those great teams. And remember, I played a clip on my social media about the Clearwater tournament. And hey, if your team's not necessarily winning the amount of games you want, don't panic. Texas was like below 500 at one point and ended up making the finals game. That's coming to fruition. And again, the Cowgirls are rounding into shape. 11 games in a row that they've won. And the pitching, again, I think they're 2-3. They're Coots and Aycock, very talented. If they can just get the ball in the zone more, continue to have a dynamic offense, continue to feed off the emotional and in the circle leader, Ruby Malin, who is just absolutely awesome to watch, and just continue to build and grow. This team is growing up right in front of our eyes. And so it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of excitement, and conference play is this weekend. So it's here, and it's on like Donkey Kong. So hey, I hope you enjoyed our first show. We'll have Scott McKinley back in next week. He has been super swamped with work. He is our softball expert analyst and women's basketball as well. So looking forward to getting him back on the show. We'll have him on the show next week. So look forward to that. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in. As always, I'm Casey Porter for OkState Daily. Go Pokes!